We're live.
Hello,
Well,
everyone.
kind of.
Welcome back to Wrath and Glory Faustian Bargains, this Warhammer 40k campaign run by me. I am William, and joining me today we have Craig.
Hi, I will again be playing Gabruk Tieftosser, captain of the Tieftosser War, and still a flash kit, newly minted boss.
The term is war boss.
I'm the boss. I can call it whatever I want.
as a freebooter, you're allowed to call yourself captain. And Cody.
Hi, I'm Cody. I'm playing Seraphim Sister Mira.
And John.
I'm John. I'm playing Brother Captain Erasmus Altamari of the Grey Knights.
And Andrew.
Hello, I'm Andrew. I'll be playing Kaelata of the Yunari, a Dire Avenger.
And when last we left this inquisitorial party, they had begun the traversal of the Cicatrix Maledictum, the grand warp storm rift that splits the galaxy in two, that effectively shrouds the opposite half of the galaxy from the light of Terra and the Astronomicon. This is a traversal that only a few people have ever successfully made, and only in very specific locations. Fortunately, the group was aware of one such location near the Space Wolves' home planet of Fenris. However, during the transit, a small breach in the Geller field allowed a small contingent of demons to slip through and assault the ship. It is uncertain how many locations on the ship were attacked, but at the very least, the party was assaulted by a squad consisting of several different demons from all four of the great powers.
I didn't know 21 demons was a small contingent.
I shuddered.
Literally millions.
When you consider that demons are literally numberless.
I mean, yeah, but so are humans. You still don't consider...
No, not nearly as numberless as demons are. Humans can be measured in the trillions upon trillions. Demons go beyond that. They're on the far side of a Google.
I heard Papa Nurgle was interfering with the most recent census, though.
Numbers may not be accurately being reported, is what we're saying.
But the battle was won, but in the tail end of it, a secondary rift was opened as this strange humanoid figure constructed of brass and corrupted material revealed itself as one Pontius Glaw, the lord and master of the Cognitae, who reached out to attempt to abduct Furiel Faust, who instead decided to lunge forward with his blade through the rift, presumably dying in battle, as far as anyone would expect.
I expect he's still alive.
But in the aftermath, the group of you are left alone with your leader disappeared and his inquisitorial acolyte screaming her rage at the empty hallway where he had been previously standing after having unloaded what was left of her gun on the few remaining demons in the room.
Since Gora seems to be a little preoccupied, I'm going to hit my Vox speed for the bridge. This is Brother Captain Erasmus Altamari requesting a status report for the ship.
The Vox speed hisses with static for a few moments before a voice eventually comes through, along with the staccato sound of gunfire, as the voice of Seneschal Uriel Marbray comes through. Everything is being currently handled. We have demonic incursions on all decks, but hands are moving quickly. This is an inquisitorial ship, after all.
We've cleared our particular nest of demons down here. Are any places in particular need of reinforcements?
I think we'll have this mopped up shortly. Looks like several of our inquisitorial teams were on board at the time. We should be able to handle this in short order. Hold your position and make sure none of them escape to where you are at.
Very well. Please inform us if there's any further need of our work.
Affirmative. Emperor be with you.
And with you. Click. Well, it seems the entire ship is under demonic infestation, but not to worry, the Inquisition is handling it, says Brother Captain Erasmus Altamari with a smile.
Gora, after venting her frustration for a bit, kind of drops the gun for a second and just kind of stares at the spot where Faust had previously been standing. This just got a lot more complicated.
Yes, any reason why, in particular, why he would dive headfirst? I mean, I'm all for that approach, but
He's going out proper punchy.
There's that, but also there was a massive psychic release when he charged through. I suspect he closed that portal by force so that no more of those demons could get through.
That happens sometimes. That's why all the boys packs extra pants.
Not to worry, I'm sure our fearless Inquisitor will find himself alive, probably in chains, but not dead. Which just means we...
So who's the boss of this ship now?
That would technically be me, Gora says.
Well, our job remains unchanged. The enemy has presented himself before us. It is only right that we answer his call.
Yes, this Pontius Glaw definitely seemed to have wanted my master alive. For whatever reason.
If I had to guess, I would say a psycho such as he would likely be worth a considerable sum as an asset to our enemy, Kelara says, while through gritted teeth and aiming her rifle at several points throughout the ship. Jumpy.
There are many uses one could have for an Inquisitor. Ask any of the people that we have to kill after revealing secrets to them. However, we must have faith in Inquisitor Faust and do our best to kill our foes.
I don't know if we can proceed forward with faith alone, Brother Captain.
In the darkest of times, faith is all we have, Night Venom.
Well, I am by no means the leader that my master was, but I can operate his network of informants and contacts. I will still be able to get us information, but this will be difficult.
I wish I knew any of the mottos or sayings of the Grey Knights, because that's my objective this week.
I mean, their battle cry is "We are the hammer."
Okay, cool. I'll find a way to work that in.
Kelara.
You could also just wing it. I love the idea of a Grey Knight just being like, "Eh, que sera, sera." I apologize though. I cut off Andrew. Sorry.
I was just going to. Only now does Kailara actually lower the shuriken catapult and turn in Gora's direction. Nothing worth doing is ever easy, or so I tell myself.
That is common in the Imperium as well.
Well then, let us move forward and carry the light of the divine Emperor of Man into the dark places and purge the demonic taint we find there. Which is a paraphrase of a thing that the Grey Knights say, so I'm going to take that.
Sure.
Yep, like you said, let's get crumping.
All right. Well, let's clear the immediate area, and once the ship is clear, we need to reconvene on the bridge.
I just spoke with, what was his name again?
Uriel Marbre.
I just spoke with Marbre. The ship is in the midst of being cleansed at the moment. He requested we maintain our position until such is done.
Yes, well, I don't exactly feel like taking that order right now.
Fair enough, neither did I.
It is true that you are in command, so if you wish to supersede that order.
Let's clear the immediate area and make our way to the bridge. This needs to be addressed.
You heard them, boys. Let's clear a path. And Gabrick and the mob of boys will head towards the door.
As will I.
Yeah, Mira's right behind him.
Kailara will bring up the rear beside Gora.
So, to cut a trip slightly short, there's a few firefights along the way, but being a large contingent of orcs, a potent Eldar witch, and a Grey Knight, the scattering of demons that you manage to find that are escaping from the larger areas of conflict are easily mopped up as you pass through.
I guess Mira's just here for the food then.
Yep.
I mean, yes, also Sister of Battle, you know.
No, it's fine. Everybody else took care of it. Nothing.
Mira using orc now.
He's one of the boys.
Wait.
She's one of them girl boys. That's all right. Everybody's a boy. What gets crumping?
He's either
not to question what you. Not to.
He's
question.
either a boy or he's a grot, and he's not runty enough to be a grot.
I'll cut anybody that calls me a grot.
That's right. So's we gonna do too. No offense, Grumprin.
Right, boss.
Well, I mean, little offense. But you done good. My favorite part was at the end there when you was pouring more of the Daka in and it got stuck and you started stomping on it. I saw that. That's initiative, that is.
Yeah, boss. Thanks. Just doing my best for the boss.
You got it.
So, you
He
cleared your
turns back to Mira. I'm down 2 boys. If you're sure you could be one.
I'm flattered, but thank you.
It's just a crunching.
Grintooth, did you pick up Grinner's chopper?
Yeah, sure did, boss.
Hey, give it to this one.
This massive, like, Herculean, ape-like orc just sort of walks over to Mira and extends a weapon that is basically a massive slab of metal that's been sharpened on one side with a bone hilt strapped to it.
She'll take it and just, all right, and start carrying it over her shoulder. Can't use it, but
You have acquired an orc chopper.
I will put it in my inventory.
There is a massive chorus of, one of the boys!
One of the boys! One of the boys!
Cracking open a weird one with the boys.
which is punctuated by the sound of a demonic skull being crushed underneath Altamari's boot.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I was busy. What?
I look at Goro while this is going on. Are they always like this?
Orcs, as a species, generally yes.
I see.
It's somewhat disturbing to see the glee with which they take to mass slaughter and brutality. But that's why they make good allies, if you can keep them pointed at the enemy.
Understandable. I was referring more to this particular mob.
Oh, freebooters are the strangest of the orcs, and that's saying something. But that's part of the reason that they can be worked with most often. They have a different set of priorities to most greenskins.
Evidently. Well, I suppose I shan't question it.
The freebooters are some of the few orcs who are actually willing to be mercenary for humans. Most of them would rather just go straight for the fight, but the freebooters seem to have an understanding that we can provide plenty of loot, as they put it, as well as point them in the direction of good fights anyway.
That's right. Sometimes, if you give up a little crumping, you get lots more crumping. And he taps his forehead. Or a temple, rather, not forehead.
Yeah. Now, mind you,
I like to think that he completely just messes it up, and rather than tapping his temple, just taps the middle of his forehead.
He probably
Like
does.
that's
He
the thing.
smashes himself in the forehead.
Like, goes to do the temple tap and just right in the middle of the forehead.
It's entirely possible.
Mind you, most Imperial worlds that do make deals with freebooters find themselves getting raided at one point or another once the deal is done, but
Their flighty nature.
Goblin shrugs unashamedly. Sometimes the boys get bored.
you clear your way towards the bridge, and as you enter, you find the last of a handful of demons being mopped up as Uriel Marbre is digging a power sword through the chest of what looks like it was probably a bloodletter at one point, but it's also sort of been bent out of shape by repeated hammer strikes from someone else on the battlefield. Generally speaking, the bridge looks like a complete fucking mess. There is gore and viscera and body parts spread all across the battlefield. Kayleen Tremaris, the captain of the ship, is currently halfway on the throne and half off of it, just kind of keeping herself up by what looks like sheer force of will and probably the heavy cocktail of drugs that Sister Sariel has just injected into her.
Well done, everyone. Good show. Round of applause. I give some applause.
What the hell is the name of the Master at Arms? The Master at Arms, Celine Furious, steps up to the group. I could have sworn that the order was given for the group to stay in their position to hold the ground. At that point, Gora steps up. Yes, and as the current acting Inquisitor, I superseded that order. And there's just a silence that falls over the room as everyone present processes that information.
What was the name of the what was the name of the guy that's the head of the Cognite?
Pontius Galore.
Yeah, Pontius
According to
Galore.
my notes.
In the silence, the head of the Cognite, Pontius Galore, made himself known on our particular section of the ship, and in the encounter, Inquisitor Faust flung himself into the void, sealing the door that the demons were coming from and attacking Pontius Glaw directly.
It was right out of him. Gabrick nods approvingly.
And so, after a few moments, Uriel Marbre, being the first to collect himself after this news, sort of steps up to Gora and offers a deep bow. Well then, Inquisitor, it appears that you are giving us the directions from now on. Gora kind of bristles at being given the title of Inquisitor so suddenly, but yes, we need to get out of this warp storm. How far do we think we have before the travel is done? Kayleen Tremeris kind of, well, according to the Navis Nobilite, the transit is just over halfway done. We've still got some time to go, though time in the warp is, well, about as worth about as much as a heretic's oath. So,
Yes, how is the Gellerfield doing now? Is it
it looks like it's back online. It looks like it came down briefly for almost under a direct attack. It wasn't just the ambient roiling nature of the warp that tore a hole in the Gellerfield. Something actively pushed against it.
The Cognite.
yes?
That seems
Most
likely.
This is Craig entirely out of character. It's been a while. I don't remember. Although Gabrick might not, because it's been 5 minutes for him. He might not remember either. Did the other cruises jumped with us, or
Yes.
they stayed behind?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the
All
other
right.
cruisers jumped with you.
And then is there intership communication in the warp? I feel like there isn't, but I'm not sure if I'm remembering that correctly.
Spotty as hell, but you can theoretically achieve contact with other ships that are attempting to fly the warp together.
Okay.
William, what keeps the Gellerfield up?
There is a piece of equipment called the Gellerfield generator. It's a piece of equipment that is considered archaeotech.
Okay, it does. It's not powered by a psyker or anything like that.
No.
There are psychers though doing the navigating right now, right?
Yes, the Navis Nobilite.
So, with the Gellerfield having dropped temporarily, we should check on our navigators and make sure none of them have succumbed to the corruption of the warp.
Also, I want to try to get a hold of the Grin Puncher, see if Dead Grin and the boys, how they's doing. Be interesting to see if they focused in just on this cruiser or all the cruisers.
I've already got Dracus keeping an eye out for the Navis and checking in on their sanctum. So when he gets back, he'll report if we lost any navigators. And meanwhile, Kayleen says, Yen, see if you can get a lithocast up to the Orc cruiser. And the engine seer on the other side of the room, who is cleaning blood off of her robes, which, to be fair, doesn't show up too badly considering, because there's, like, even demon viscera is often red, and, you know, her robes are blood red.
So you got the classic Mars colors?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Engine Seer Yen kind of steps over to one of the banks. Yes, we lost several of our servitors. Let me see if I can get this online. And she sort of extends several mechadendrites that start to punch into several of the consoles. Lithocast coming up. And a very fuzzy image of the pilot of the Grin Puncher appears. Hey, boss!
I left Deadgrin in charge, but I don't think he's the pilot. Who's the pilot of the cruiser?
That's up to you.
Okay. It wouldn't be one of the weird boys, right? It would just be
no. It'd just be it'd be an orc flyboy.
All right. Let's call the pilot Creon. Right, Creon. How's things? You all get a bunch of weird wiggly boys jumping on?
Nothing but face eater squigs down here doing any wriggling, boss.
You got to tell the boys they's on the wrong cruiser. We got a bunch of them demon lads over here.
What?
Well, we crumped
missed
them.
a proper fight?
That's right. Maybe get the weird boys to jump around a bit. See if you can get some on. Keep the lads on their toes.
Right.
Oi! Wurzag, Shogsticker. Can any of them hear me?
Wurzag! And you hear this sort of like stomping noise as a weird boy steps up with his copper rod sort of in his right hand, his brain pan fully exposed. Yeah, boss.
Hey, Wurzag, we got some demons trying to push their way in through the what you call it? The Gebler Gates.
Gellerfield.
That one.
Right,
So,
the weird boy feel, yeah.
Yeah. So, what you lot doing that they're not coming after you all is what I wants to know.
I didn't notice them trying to get in, boss. Maybe they's just
We'll put out one of them welcome mats.
Maybe they's coming after you because you's the big boss.
Well, I knows that, but I'd like to know that the boys is getting a little crumping in all days on. Look, if they don't get any demons on, tell them I want just a good old-fashioned lad-on-lad crumping.
I'll see if I can reel some in, boss.
God, as Craig really hopes that's not slang for something else.
It is.
Yeah, it almost certainly is.
Oh, he literally means see if he can reel demons into the ship.
No. I mean,
Lad on
lad crumping. I realized it as I said it. Like, God, you got to be more careful, man.
I didn't even pay attention.
I apologize if I just said anything horribly offensive to our viewers.
Yeah.
It's orc speak. They understand.
We're not on video because I'm bright red. That's good. Let me get back to being green. Right. Well, just see if you can find out why they's pushing in on this ship. If it's for me, that's right and good. They ought to try to get over here and get me, but they's not gonna. Why's that, boys?
Because you's the boss, boss.
Hey, they got it. All right. Well, let me know what you find out.
So, orc psychers have the best power, apparently.
Which one?
Fist of Gork.
Yes.
It costs 8 points. It's got a D and a 5, so it's cheap and it's easy to cast. And you just give an orc +4 strength and a +2 bonus die on all melee attacks for a round.
Only works on orcs, but yeah.
It's just like, yeah, you punch that guy real good.
Sure, if you want to get all tactical about it.
All right, so. Yeah, so the weird boy. I'll see if I can find some demons, boss. Maybe I can punch some info out of them.
That'd be good. Right, good on you. Give us a shout back if you find anything out.
Right, boss. I'll get on that. And at that point, Kriog is back on the screen. Right, boss. Anything else?
No, that's it. Let us know if anything goes weird or, well, if the ship blows up, we'll probably find out. But anything else other than that?
If the ship blows up, we's crashing right into something good.
That's my boys.
All right. And the lithocast cuts out.
Look, that Wurzag, he's proper weird.
As Yen retracts mechadendrites and just kind of twitches, like, involuntarily from the interface. Like, she found that completely repulsive.
So Gabrick will step back and turn to the others. Just wait and see who's going next.
At that point, the door opens, and the blonde hair, blue eyes, relatively scarred face of Taylor Dracus, the chief bosun, steps onto the bridge. We've lost 2 of our navigators, but the rest of the choir is going strong.
Burnt out or corrupted?
Burnt. None have fallen.
Good.
The Mistress Zerinium, or sorry, no, Third Eye. I think it is Zerinia. I think I was right. The Choir Master. No, that's Telepathic, right. Which one of you is the Warp Guide? Yeah, Quinto Severian. Master Quinto Severian informs us that the warp tides are jettisoning us forward, which means we will arrive outside the cicatrix sooner than expected.
Also good.
Should solidify our plans once we're on the other when we're on the other side of this.
About that, Kayleen Tremera says, I don't know if any of you have ever been on the other side of the Great Rift, but it's hell as far as navigation and any form of transit goes. There's no Astronomicon, which means we're flying in short bursts and in real space as often as can be.
I'll turn towards. Did we know what destination Faust had in mind after we exited, or was that not been revealed?
Not to the group of you, no.
I will turn and look at Gora. Night Venom, do you know our next destination?
I might have it here, she says as she steps over and pulls up a data slate that she had previously. It looks like we're heading for I think the world is named Gudrun, is the former capital of the Helican subsector of the Skara sector. It was until the until in the last millennium, the actions of Inquisitor Gregor Eisenhorn, the feudal system of noble patronage, including powerful houses such as House Pariti, House Freuger, and House Glaw.
It's a good place to look as any for Eisenhorn. That is what we're doing, right? We're looking for Eisenhorn, right?
Specifically, you're looking for, because Eisenhorn's near impossible to track. You're looking for a Gideon Ravener, who is his former apprentice, who would be more able to track.
Scratch that, Ravener.
Gudrun was the last known location of Inquisitor Ravener, and considering the state of the galaxy, it would be difficult for him to traverse.
The home planet, the home world of the Blood Angels is on this side of the rift, is it not?
Ball, yes, although not in the sector of the galaxy we're heading towards.
Would it be possible, if needed, to request reinforcements from any Blood Angels on this side of the rift?
Theoretically, though, Ball is under constant siege from our recent information.
Worth investigating at some point, potentially.
Indeed.
But chin up, everyone. We survived one demonic incursion. I'm sure the next one will be easy. Just a wry grin.
Well, I suppose now we just have to wait. And so you do. And a few more days pass with the Geller field still holding up, fortunately, although it gets turbulent at times.
Mira mounts the orc chappa on the wall.
of her cell.
Yeah.
And within a few days later, the ship drops out of the warp into real space. All right. Welcome to what is newly uncharted territory.
How does this feel to me now that we're out of the warp, but we're also on the other side of the rift?
So to those who are aware of it, which is mostly navigators, but also those who are looking for it on the right side, the Astronomicon is a ever-present beacon that reaches across the galaxy. It is sort of the Emperor's light in physical form in the realm of the warp, just psychically permeating everywhere, providing a guiding beacon that allows people to orient themselves in the galaxy. That light is not here, and its absence is a void.
Yeah, I figure like even if it's not something you're aware of normally as a psyker, you'd probably be suddenly aware of its absence.
Yes.
This side of space is unsettling to me.
Unsettling how? It is cold here.
On the far side, the light of the Emperor shines through the warp, providing guidance and direction. Here that guidance is gone. And though not consciously aware of its presence all the time, I am keenly aware of its absence.
So
I must be far less sensitive to that. Feels to me as if the temperature of the ship has changed, but that's all.
To be fair, I don't think your kind really traverses the warp all that much, do they?
No, that is the first time I have had to go in about 700 years. Would that I knew the location of a webway gate.
Wait, how old is you?
1252.
But you's tiny.
Yes.
As you getting smaller as you get older, or was you real small when you was little?
Kaylara just giggled. Oh. Well, I suppose that's for me to know, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I asked you. Gobbert just sort of goggles at her, trying to comprehend that someone so old could be so small.
In all fairness, let me just double check. Kaylara is 6'10" before the helmet.
However,
Yeah,
very scrawny.
Yeah, she's a beanpole.
But all, I mean, for that old, I feel like if an orc made it that long, they'd be like 15 feet tall.
I mean, yes,
Yeah,
the known orcs that have lived for incredibly long periods are gigantic.
How much?
Physiology is weird.
But how much of that is because they also have a bunch of metal welded to their face?
I mean, it depends on the orc.
And the size of the welding.
Gazkul, for instance, is a fucking monster.
They go in for bolt tox implants.
First of all, how dare?
Second of all, what gives you the right?
Roland. Now, I'll look towards the captain. We have our directions for the Scaris sector. Without the Emperor's light, how do we intend to navigate?
Very, very carefully, Kayleen says. It's going to be a matter of very short jumps before we can trying to hope that we don't manage to get lost in the brief period that we're traveling.
I could have the weird boys chat us, of course.
Actually, that might help, she says, kind of grudgingly.
Do your weird boys know the
Wow.
planet we're looking for?
Well, I suppose she's going to tell us. And he walks over to the engine seer and just leans down next to her and yells really loud, "Oi, Tedgrin, can you hear me in there?"
And Yen just kind of like jumps out of her skin for a second, and you can see like the electrical impulses from her mind impulse unit send her hair standing on end like a cat as she like jumps and leans over. I have not contacted them again
Why not?
because it was not necessary.
But it is now. Get to it.
Fine.
Yeah, just deep, barrel-chested belly laugh from Erasmus.
She once again puts her mechadendrites into the consoles, and the lithocast of the Grin Puncha comes up as it too has left the warp nearby. Yeah, boss.
We're gonna need Wurzag and Shocksticker. We got a course to chart.
Right. Where's Egg? Grab Shocksticker, get up here. A few moments later, two weird boys appear this time. Warzak still being the leading operator. Yes, boss.
The humans don't know. Well, they know where we's going, but they don't know how we's going to get there. So they's going to tell you all, and we's going to show them how to chart a proper course.
Right, you are, boss. He looks over to the rest of the screen. Where's we's going then?
Gavrik turns around. Oi, who knows the planet we's going to?
The individual that steps up is, as I pull up my crew of the Emperor Draconis again, Master Helmsman Tychus Meridos, the sort of older-looking gentleman, almost like he looks kind of like almost a Bondish, like James Bond-ish esque figure with more of like a square jaw. Dark black hair kind of slicked back with the large coat of an Imperial naval officer, the Master Helmsman. The world is Gudrun, yes. I believe I know the description and the general galactic location. And he will pull up a display of the planet. It is from our current position, generally speaking, galactic northwest. And he rattles off a handful of different degrees and navigation tools. And Wurzag just kind of looks at him for a second, and there's not really a hint of whether or not he understood any of that, but he just goes, right, I'll get us charted that way then.
That's a good lad.
Just follow me then. We's gonna do this the green way. Get ready for the jump.
Okay. Gavrik turns around with a big grin. Right, well, that's sorted then.
How do orcs navigate the warp? Erasmus asks out loud.
I wish I could tell you.
With gusto.
We're about to find out, it seems.
Is that the name of
for
one of your
Erasmus.
lads?
Yeah, is Gusto the main navigator?
Aye, poor gusto.
And the orc keeps the lithocast up. You's gonna want to hold on to your seats for this one, or we's gonna take a jump. And the orc and the other weird boy next to him start chanting incoherently in Uggs, which is the name of the orcish language.
So
And-
double incoherent for the rest of us.
Green lightning begins to dance across their eyes and mouths and around their brains, and then after a few moments, that same green lightning crackles out of the lithocast screen and around the room of the bridge, and starts to dance across the breadth of the ship.
I don't think that's how that's supposed to work.
Gabrick just shrugs and watches.
Now it's time for the jump, the orc shouts. And there is a flash of green. And you're not certain where your brain is for the next, you're not certain how long it took. But when your consciousness reasserts itself, unknown distance and time later, you are orbiting a planet.
That's definitely not how that's supposed to work. Mm.
That looks proper planety.
Kelara immediately just starts examining herself, making sure everything is back in place.
As far as you can tell.
That's so unprotected. It was.
There you go, boys. You found one.
That was
That wasn't
insane.
so bad.
You know, I don't think that's how that's supposed to work.
No.
Laura says, putting her brain together.
I am with you. I hope we never have to do that again.
I taste rust. Why do I taste rust?
Perhaps a secondary symptom of proximal psychic activity?
I think I prefer the demons.
Sometimes you ends up with a bit of dacker behind your teeth. Just dig it out with a nail.
As Mira, you dig into your mouth, you actually pull a bullet out.
She just looks like this is the first time anybody paying attention. Her eyes legitimately go wide. Like, what the fuck was that doing there?
And it's not even like an Imperial bullet. It's an orc slug.
Yeah. She'll flip it like a coin at Grubkin.
Gobruk, why am I holding this? I say, holding up a severed orc's arm.
Oh, like I say, poor Gusto. I'll take the arm and just toss it to the rest of the boys.
Oh, hey, snack! One of them punches the other in the face. So. But as everyone is reorienting themselves, Gora kind of shakes her head for a second. You know, most recorded travel across long distances by the orcs is done in space hulks, just kind of drifting wildly through the warp. I've only seen that kind of teleportation on the short range. What are those weird boys?
Weird.
Well, the one on the left is Wurzag, and the one with the shock sticker is Shock Sticker.
Helmsman, where are we?
It looks like Tychus is sort of trying not to vomit for a second, and he coughs, and just a fucking grenade falls out of his mouth, and he panic kicks it away, and then another person looks at it and realizes it's not armed, and just kind of breathes a sigh of relief.
Oh, lucky!
According to my systems, we're getting a scan of the planet. It looks like we're actually over Gudrun.
Does the ship log indicate how long that took?
I wouldn't trust it.
Please don't tell me we got here yesterday.
The ship's clock has started counting backwards.
Unbelievable.
Does that mean anything to you? Is that something that we should be aware of?
Something we should fix?
Yes.
I will get to working on that.
Well,
Is it counting backwards from where we started, or is it counting backwards from several days in the future?
It currently reads M39.
I think neither one of those is as big as a problem as if it's as it would be unless it's counting down to something. Sometimes that happens too.
Gora, could you check one of your own chronometers? And Gora pulls one up. No, it's still 42nd millennium. That clock is just completely ruined.
Get word down to the armory and make sure none of the munitions, maybe, have spontaneously armed.
Yes, please do that.
I look over at the boats and check the navigators again.
I should. And he goes off to Navigator Den.
We have an orc now.
There's an orc navigator missing an arm.
Just a weird boy manifested on the ship in navigator robes.
It's Gusto.
Yeah.
A few minutes later, Taylor Dracus comes back. Well, aside from one of them, frothing at the mouth and speaking in, I want to say tongues, but it sounds too orcish. The rest of the nobility seem to have shut themselves off before that transportation happened. That one just seemed to have been unfortunate.
Well, we'll need to see if he's recoverable or put him down permanently.
You can send him over to the Grin Puncher.
No.
Don't think that would be wise.
Never heard of you me talking proper orc.
Might not be proper orc.
Never heard of you me talking improper orc.
Primary method of communication between humans and orcs was through bullets.
Which now that I
Quite
think
some
about it,
time, yes.
Which now that I think about it, is probably as orc as communication gets, isn't it, Goldbrook?
Well, that's what we call negotiations. But sometimes you got to flap your gums at each other.
Ah, yes, the diplomatic approach where everyone has a knife in the other hand.
The diplomatic approach.
That gets another giggle out of Kelara.
Well, let's take accounting of the ship and get down to planet side.
Right. Yes. Someone should check on Tonri Valda. As your pilot, she should probably be checked on.
If, and worst case, if she is otherwise indisposed, I could fly us down if necessary. But yes, we should check on Tonri.
Her cell is in the Celine Furious. We'll give you the location of Tonri's cell.
Yeah, we'll go check.
With you.
So, who's heading down to see Tonri?
Mira.
Kelara.
Mira and Kilara. All right. So the two of you head down to Tonri Valda's cell.
I'm gonna go check on that frothing navigator and see if he's recoverable or need to just go ahead and put him down.
Make me a Medicaid check.
Would it be a Medicaid check or a Psychic Mastery check?
Medicaid.
Okay. I'll take the ship's medic with me too, just in case. Cause...
Yeah. Sister Saria will go with you.
Yeah. I was more looking at like perfectly healthy but mentally broken. Well, then put him down.
Medicaid is still used for evaluating mental health too.
3 successes.
You can tell he's mostly in a state of psychic shock. He'll probably recover given enough time.
Sorry, what was the title of the medic?
Sister Sario. She's a sister. She's a
Hospitalier.
fuck. Yeah, Sister Hospitalier. Or Sister Hospitaler.
Hospitaler,
actually, is the
yes. Hospitaler, sorry. Oh, sister, is there a place we can put this one until he recovers?
name. Yes, I can probably find a safe place to put him.
He should be fine after some rest.
Mm-hmm. She sort of leads him off with one arm slung over her shoulder, just to keep him balanced. All right. And then the Mira and Kelara are headed down to see Tom Rivaldo.
Correct.
The two of you head down to her cell, and you hear profuse amounts of swearing.
Like, ow swearing, ow I'm hurt swearing, or that shit is broken swearing.
Angry swearing. You just hear a whole lot of random expletives in no particular order.
All right. I'll
The fuck shit,
knock.
bitch, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'll knock. Tonry, is everything all right?
Emperor,
Did you-
damn, no, it's not.
Did you spit up a bullet as well?
If only.
May we come in?
Sure.
Open the door.
You open. You
I think
open the
you-
door. Go on.
I think you would better take the lead on this one.
All right. Step inside.
Yeah, you open the door, and there's this fucking mass of scrap metal in the middle of the room that Tonri is currently half buried in and trying to force her way out of.
Quick question. Since I've walked past Gobrick's room so many times, is this his scrap pile that got transported into
a
her
different room. It
Yeah.
looks like it. It could be.
Here, let me help you, and then she'll start to help digging Tonri out.
Yeah, Kelara would immediately follow to help with that.
It takes a bit of work, but you eventually manage to free enough garbage from the pile that Tonri is able to force her way out.
Should we get you to the Medicaean for any shots? Have you been cut by any of this rusted scrap? And
She kind of looks over herself, and there's a few gashes, but none of them really break skin. It's mostly her clothing seemed to have taken most of it. The real significant thing that she's worried about is her hands, and she sort of like looks over both of her hands to check and you've seen it before, but this is the first time you've gotten a really up close look at the back of her hands and the palms, which are like her hands are completely lined with like circuitry.
Mhm.
Like there's these complex wires and like pads that are going up and down the length of her hands and the back of her hands and her palms that sort of it looks like a circuit board built onto her hands, basically.
Is it kind of like my where is it? Reflex catalyst?
Kind of, but very different.
Yeah.
Like it's that same similar style of thing, but it looks like a series of interfaces basically designed to like carry electric charge from one point to another.
Yeah. Everything all right with your hands? Everything checking out?
And they feel a little twitchy. I'll probably have to calibrate them a bit.
You feel that you'll be able to fly fine?
Even a messed up Glavian's hands are better than any pilot's.
Ouch. I'm right here, but
No offense.
none taken.
This is
You are the best.
This is what the Glavians do.
Yes. Well, it appears that we're at our location. albeit sooner rather than we'd expected, but we are planning to head planet side if you feel you'll be ready soon enough.
Yes, I just need a few minutes to recalibrate these circuits, she says as she immediately walks over to a desk that has been buried in junk and starts to sweep
Yeah,
stuff off of it.
as she starts sweeping stuff off, Mira will tap her Vox speed and say, Gabrick, maybe have some of your boys check your room for your scrap pile. See if it's all there. If not, I found it.
Oh, who's been touching me scrap?
Afraid it might have been a side effect of the jump.
You hear over the comm, sort of facing away from it. Oi, lads! Some of the demons might have got into the boss's scrap pile. Get down there and get it sorted out.
You hear a chorus of, right, boss!
If it's not your scrap pile, I've got more scrap for you to add to it.
You find out shortly that, yes, the majority of your scrap pile has vanished from your room.
Those filthy scrap poaching demons.
It's the majority of it is in Tanri's room, and she would greatly appreciate it if it was recovered and returned to its rightful owner.
No, they's been touching me scrap. No, it's personal. One of the orcs is like, they did kill 2 of the boys, boss. Yeah, but now they's touching my scrap, and it's personal, like. Gabrick and his boys, I hopefully can soon get the scrap sorted out. There is probably additional scrap returned to the room than there was originally.
Yes, there is definitely. You clear out all the scrap out of Tonri's room, plus some extra that you find along the way. Tonri gets
One of the
to work.
boys, one of the boys realizes that if you knock into something as you walk along and break it off the walls, now it's scrap.
Very shortly, you get a communication from Gora. Yeah, Gobrook, Celine is telling me that one of your boys is actively damaging the ship. Please don't let them do that.
All right. Eustace, I think we've got enough scrap for now.
Right, boss. He stops ramming into the wall.
That was a real good idea, though. Let's remember that when we get down to the base.
Thanks, boss.
Tanri, I'll go to the ship and start preparations while you recalibrate, and we'll join up with the rest of the group and the bridge.
All right. Yes, I'll head up to the bridge as soon as I got my hands fixed. If you want to make sure that we're going down to Gudrun, we'll want to take one of the gun cutters if you want to make sure that at least one of them is functional.
Yes, hopefully that jump didn't adversely affect any of them.
You are better equipped than I to handle this. I'll see you back on the bridge.
See you there. I'll head down and check that out.
Yeah, Kalara just gives them both a wave as she heads out.
Mira, give me a tech check. Difficulty 2.
Tech check. 2.
So looking over the ships, a number of them have been not damaged, but haywired by the jump, and they'll require some at least moderate adjustments to fly properly.
Yeah.
But one of them has the least amount of work needed, and you're able to get that sorted and ready to fly in short order.
All right. I'll radio back to the bridge once I've finished. Back to the group once I finish that. I have a gun cutter. have a gun cutter ready for when we're ready to go. On my way back to the bridge now.
Thank you, Mira. Gora's voice sounding very exasperated in the face of all of this. Comes out. When we get onto the surface of this planet, we need to see if we can get an accurate chrono reading. Although that's difficult this far from Terra.
I'm sure someone can be coerced to tell us the time of day.
It's less that and more that as you get further from Terra, time becomes less accurate to track. The dateline given in most timestamps taken on most documents includes a notion of distance from Sol, which is used to imply how accurate this may or may not be, considering, because further distance implies more time anomalies caused by space and the warp itself. So the further you get from Terra, the less accurate any time readings are. And that was before the Cicatrix Maledictum.
Hmm. That's his only response.
But in short order, the ship begins to reorient itself after being orc teleported. And the group of you are gathered in the hangar with Gora.
What do we know
Okay.
about this planet before we head down?
A member of the Ordo Xenos, supposedly a prolific writer and poet, something of an artist's soul, cunning strategist, and potent psyker, especially recently.
Sorry,
Was
I meant the planet, not the person we're seeking.
Sorry, Gudrun.
Yes.
Sorry, I heard Ravener. I don't know if you said Ravener or not.
I said planet.
Okay. Gudrun is a feudal world. It used to be the capital of this subsector until that got changed to the world is escaping me at the moment, but the Helican subsector as a general whole.
Thracian Primaris.
Thracian Primaris, thank you. It's still a major trade world and is primarily occupied by high-class families that wanted to have space away from Thracian Primaris, especially after it became the capital. And so you'll typically find there is a direct association with an old pre-Unity Terran nation who was known for monarchy and a distinct culture of colonization.
Is this planet allied with the Imperium of Man, independent, or adversary?
Oh, it is an imperial world.
It owes
itself to the Imperium, but it's far enough away that the grasp of imperial law is tentative, especially now that the rift is in the way.
And with the Glaws having some amount of power in this sector, we may encounter hostilities?
Well, House Glaw has a troubled history.
We met the troubled history previously, if you'll recall.
Yes, we did. They are considered a noble house of Gudrun and have in the past been loyal. At one point suffered a large treason and falling into chaos spearheaded by one Pontius Glaw, who was thought to have been killed and then the house was thought to have purged its chaos worshippers until some centuries later, when Gregor Eisenhorn went to investigate, discovered that Glaw had been preserved, that Pontius Glaw had been preserved, and that the entire house was still serving him. After that, the majority of the house was purged a second time, this time by the Inquisition, so it was done mostly properly. There are only a handful of Glaws left, and they have been constantly watched to make sure their loyalty to the Imperium is assured.
And has the communication with the Watchers been consistent, or has the rift caused us to lose that communication?
The rift has caused us to lose every communication.
So, we cannot be certain that they are not once again under the sway of chaos.
Nothing is ever certain in this region of space. We are in the Segmentum Obscurus.
Good. Just wanted to make it clear what our perceptions should be.
So, let's make our way down to the surface, shall we? I think this world will be a welcome change from the previous planets we settled on.
The last planet I was on was in the middle of a war, so...
I don't know. Last planet I touched down on, I got myself a wall, so...
It's a good thing we're in the Segmentum Obscurus. Less people will question an orc wandering around. Though Gudrun might be an exception to that, but...
Well, down we go then. Gets on board.
And so, at this point, you hear footsteps as Tanri Valda comes walking up the ramp with her hands having been readjusted. All right, ready to go. Wow, these ships have been messed up. All right, you looks like you got this one in order, though. Thank you.
Yes, this one was the least affected by the teleportation.
I hope we don't have to do that again anytime soon, though probably will.
At the very least, it was efficient.
Yes?
Yes, it was.
That is certainly a word we can use to describe it.
That's what they say about the orcs. They's officious. Well, that's what you said, right?
Just gonna let it slide.
Kalara just cocks her helmeted head to one side at Galbraith for a few seconds.
So, Tonri sits down in the cockpit, and the gun cutter sort of jerks off the ground shakily for a minute, and then takes off and starts to smooth itself out as it goes. As the ship sort of adjusts a little bit. It wasn't quite fully back to normal, but she eventually manages to stabilize it, and it heads down onto the planet. And unlike most worlds that you have been on in the recent months and / years,
I'll be right back.
the planet of Gudrun is green, for one thing, which is not incredibly usual. It has almost as sort of implied by Gora's remarks, has almost sort of a Great Britain aesthetic to a lot of the landscape. There's a lot of rolling green hills and small villages sort of studded throughout. And a large number of like significant stately manors that sort of jut out from the environment. Reasonably well wooded. It looks like a planet that is roughly entirely made of Great Britain. with large mountainside estates built in several different locations and such. But you land... Actually, this will do, now that I think about it. Gora kind of pulls up a data slate and... Here, coordinates here. Land at this location. And the gun cutter turns and shifts and comes to and pulls to a halt and lands at a landing pad of an estate built into the side of a high hill overlooking a steep cliff face. The ship touches down and the bridge drops, and as you step out, you find yourselves standing in the somewhat dilapidated...
I'm back.
You find yourself standing in the somewhat dilapidated estate. It definitely looks like a large manor house. And by large manor house, we're talking 40K standards, so it's a manor house the size of a castle, with significant grounds and a large number of fortifications, including guns that appear to be inactive at the moment and sort of gathering dust.
Whose estate is this?
You do not know yet.
Oh.
Gora seems to, though.
Sorry, I had to step away for a second. I'm back
Yeah.
now, so I missed I missed
Gora-
everything from it's a green planet to now.
Gora gave the signal to stop. Gave a set of coordinates to Tonri and suggested that we park there, and so she did. And
So-
this is the estate you find that.
In that case, where is this Inquisitor Night Venom?
She sort of like exhales for a minute at the title, and then this is formally the estate of one Inquisitor Gregor Eisenhorn.
Good as place as any to start looking for his protege.
Indeed. Although it's in somewhat of a state of disrepair. I don't think anyone's been here for a while, she says, looking around at the inactive guns and the general state of dishevelment of the grounds.
Did Revenar have a large retinue?
Ravener, while not necessarily the largest inquisitorial retinue, had a very close-knit, almost familial relationship with his attaché.
Do you think someone might come to investigate, knowing that a ship has just entered this planet's atmosphere?
Likely, but inquisitorial mandate will tell most of them to, in Goodranite terms, piss off.
Well, we should at least be prepared for some manner of hopefully non-violent negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the estate, can I tell if it is actually in disrepair or if it is strategically in disrepair? That is, certain aspects were left alone, but other things like the turrets are still in pretty good condition even if they're turned off.
Roll me check skills here. Erasmus. Roll me awareness.
I can do that. Five successes, one of which is a exalted one.
You would have needed 4, so you won't be able to spend that. But so, looking around, there is a healthy layer of dust on most things. However, nothing seems to have been rendered completely non-functional. Like, the guns still work, even if they're off. The doors still work, even if they shouldn't have power. There's still a supply of power to this facility.
I would suggest everyone be on your guard. While the mansion looks abandoned, it is not decrepit. Those turrets can still activate. Those doors can still open.
Maybe we should take a couple of shots at it just to be safe.
Or we can go in the doors that will open.
No.
Keen eye, brother captain, Laura says.
I will head towards that door.
After you. And so you step up to...
The figure of a Grey Knight is hard to misinterpret, so I figure I'm probably the best one to step forward.
Yeah.
I mean, the figure of an orc is also difficult to misinterpret. You just get a different impression.
Exactly.
Can I have, at some point between maybe just shot down at us out of the ship, can I get 2 more boys to max up my my retinue?
Yeah. Yeah, you can have your retinue refilled.
We land, and then there's just like a whistling sound, and and everyone looks up, and there's just a rock
Yeah.
with 2 more boys in it.
You held on real good, boys. Good job. All right, Grin Tosser, like the name? Thanks, boss. I named it after you. All right, no need for that. And this one here is Gobgrin.
Don't you already have a Gobgrin?
No, he has a grub grit.
Got a Grubgrin. Keep 'em straight there,
Ah.
beakies. Look, it's not that hard. I got a Grin, Morslag Grin, Grin Tooth, Rot Grin, Eustace, Grin Grin, Grin Tosser, and Gobgrin. Not sure what the problem is.
Okay, Lara just pulls out a small slate and is jotting notes down furiously.
So what do we find inside the house, William?
So, you open the door, and immediately you find yourself in a receiving room for any guests coming in from the pad. It is decorated in sort of semi-Victorian-esque upholstery and sort of like definitely sort of real wood finishes, which is rare on any normal planet, but this planet does have a decent amount of wood. The carpet is sort of this like deep burgundy color. And there is a healthy layer of dust everywhere. And as you look around, interior lights begin to come on automatically, sensing the motion of people being present. As lumen globes along the walls start to slowly fizz to life, emitting this faint off-white glow.
Yeah, like I said, not abandoned. Just lacking a housekeeper.
Let's see if there's been any other recent visitors or not so recent.
Everyone, roll me awareness.
8 successes, 2 of which are exalted.
Quite happily take that 5.
Yep, 5 successes.
You're not getting anything past the brother captain today.
Only 1 exalted.
So,
Getting an awareness roll from Gobrick?
Yeah, I was looking. I couldn't find it, and I realized I was looking on the boys' sheet instead of on Gobrick's sheet. There it is. 2.
So couple of rolls. Okay, so as you're walking, Mira, Kalara, and Erasmus, you hear the creaking of a floorboard, ever so faint, and almost would have missed it if you had not been paying such acute attention to your surroundings. But something just lifted under someone's weight, and it wasn't any of you.
I hold a hand up.
Direction.
Roughly down the stairs and to the left.
In the name of the Imperium of Man, and under the power of the Grey Knights of the Ordo Hereticus?
Malleus.
I say the Ordo Malleus. Show yourself.
While he says that, I would like to use the Psyniscience psychic power to detect the presence of warp phenomena.
Right.
6 successes.
What is the range on it?
50 meters. Although it does also just specify within line of sight, so if anything's nearby, there's a psychic manifestation.
Yeah, so it does require you to be able to see it,
Yes.
or at least see the area where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
You're not seeing anything in this room.
Okay.
And there is no response to your call out, Erasmus.
Then I'm marching that way.
So you start to walk down the stairs, and you sort of turn the corner, and you find yourself face to face with an individual. This individual is not as tall as you, but not by a lot. As he has sort of held in a ready position, but not necessarily immediately pulling the trigger on you, a very large, heavy caliber Imperial rifle, sort of pointed in your direction. This individual is tall and broad, shaved head, with a very tightly trimmed goatee, sort of steely flint-like eyes, in heavy battle armor, with the gun pointed at you. And because you rolled 8 awareness, you suddenly also become aware of a presence that is keeping itself balanced very precariously in the rafters above you with another gun trained on you.
I just direct my vision up and just look directly at the person that's above me.
On the roof, you see a female figure with sort of lengthy blonde hair, a somewhat robust figure, which is impressive considering she's holding herself so acrobatically, with a plasma pistol pointed in your direction.
I have, in the last very short while, had to exterminate somewhere in the neighborhood of 20-odd demons. You two will pose no threat. Drop your weapons and announce yourselves.
You're not the only one with that kind of track record, big guy, says the male.
I am Brother Captain Erasmus Altamari of the Grey Knights. Drop your weapon.
Harlan Nail, I don't think I will.
Does that name mean anything to me?
Not to you, but Gora sort of calls out, Harlan Nail of Gideon Ravener's retinue? And he sort of looks up. And who might that be?
Inquisitor Night Venom. What Ordo is
Malleus.
Ordo Malleus?
Ordo Malleus.
Inquisitor Night Venom, Ordo Malleus.
He sort of lets out a low whistle. And what's a second inquisitorial retinue doing here?
Searching for the first one.
See, that never sounds good, he says, not quite moving the gun yet.
What was that? We're looking for Ravner in order to find Inquisitor name keeps
Gregor Eisenhorn.
Thank you. Inquisitor Eisenhorn.
That you're not making your case any better here.
I haven't killed you yet.
Does this mean the diplomacy part is done and we can start shooting?
Not yet,
Not
Tobruk.
yet, big guy. I like to believe that we just say that in
Yeah,
unison.
absolutely, in unison.
And as this standoff is going on, Gora just calls out, "We're not here to hurt or hunt or accuse anyone. We need your help."
Oh.
Nail kind of looks at her for a minute. Yeah, all right. Kara, get down here. And the rest of you who did not roll as high on your awareness as Erasmus see drop from the ceiling this human female with the long blonde hair and the somewhat robust figure. Literally how she's described in every book.
I remember those books.
The purplest of prose.
We are hunting. I've forgotten all the proper nouns that we have ever used in this game.
I mean, yeah, the 40k universe will do that to you.
Pontius, we are hunting Pontius Glaw and his name of organization.
Cognite.
And we are hunting Pontius Glaw and his cognite. He has recently attacked our ship, proving himself to still be alive, and we're hoping to enlist the aid of Eisenhorn.
Neo kind of like takes in what you just said for a minute. Son of a bitch. I thought we killed him for good the last time.
Well, the Cognite are quite active, if in the shadows, on the other side of the Cicatrix Maledictum. And we're working to remedy that.
God damn it, and they're on the move. Shit. Raven is going to want to hear this.
Do you know where he is then?
Well, he's not here. We were sort of kept to keep watch for a while.
How long is a while?
It's been a few months.
Oh, well, I remember. What year is it?
And he rattles off the present year that you knew it was before you took the jump.
Okay, thank you. Had to check.
What date is it?
He gives a date that is probably a few weeks off, but that's hard to say whether or not it's actually a few weeks off or whether it's just the distance from Terra.
We got here through unorthodox matters, and our shipboard computer has lost all sense of time.
Uh-huh. I see you also brought a greenskin with you.
And a wah.
He sort of opens his mouth for a second and then shuts it.
They's both mine. The war and his green skin. He points to his own skin.
Okay. Ordo Malleus people run in strange circles, apparently.
Well,
Oh, not just the Ordo Malleus.
when there are
He looks at Kate Lara. They just get stranger.
She just gives a wave.
when there are chaos-tainted demons to destroy, one cannot be too terribly picky with one's allies.
Well, I guess I see the reasoning for that. Well, for me, it's just, at the moment, it's just me, Kara, and Patience that are around here.
Have you a method of getting in contact with Ravner?
Yeah, I can probably do that.
Well then, shall we to it?
Okay, but it ain't pretty, he says, as he pulls out a small pendant from his neck that, Kalara, you recognize as Wraithbone.
Well, I should very much like to meet this Ravenel now. She muses out loud.
And a few moments later, you see Harlan Nail's eyes black over as he looks across the group. And meet him you have, as a completely different voice comes out of Harlan Nail's mouth.
Do I recognize what this is?
No, because this is not a psychic power that anyone in the typical realms of the Imperium manifests.
Do I recognize it?
Roll me Psychic Mastery.
All right. 8 successes.
It is definitely an Eldari psychic power. It is a form of astral projection using the Wraithbone as a transmitter that allows someone to wear, for lack of a better term, another person. It's usually best done willingly, because the dissonance of someone who is unwilling being worn by someone else puts a massive strain on the connection.
Where is this coated?
And does significant damage both to the person being worn and to the person doing the wearing.
Is that damage is only when it's unwilling, right?
Typically, there's a little bit of feedback, even if it is willing, depending on how compatible the two people are. But it varies from person to person, and usually it's just sort of exhaustion afterwards.
Fascinating.
Well,
Kelara brushes her hand over her second spirit stone.
that's surprising, but not the most surprising thing I've seen today. So,
I am Inquisitor Gideon Ravenel.
Brother Captain Erasmus Altamari, and I will then indicate first to Mira.
Mira of the Order of the Thorn.
Then to Kilara.
Kelara.
Then to Gora.
Inquisitor Gora Night Venom, she says very hesitantly with the Inquisitor title.
Then a wide gesture to the orcs.
I's Gobruk Teeth Tosser of the Wall Teeth Tosser, Captain of the Grin Puncher. And these here,
And he turns and gestures behind him, in pointing at each one.
Grin Mole, Slag Grin, Grin Tooth, Rot Grin, Eustace, Grin Grin, Grin Tosser, Gob Grin, and this one here is Grub Grin. And this here is Fancy Lad.
Turn back.
Surprisingly, he seems to track those names at the very least. And he sort of nods at the various introductions. And I understand that you are seeking my mentor.
We are. The Cognite are active in force, and their leader is alive, and potentially has captured our former Inquisitor Faust.
Inquisitor Furiel Faust. It's not a name I'm unfamiliar with, although I have not had the pleasure of meeting him before.
Well, if we join forces and kill Pontius Glaw, you might just have that chance.
Pontius Glaw. That's a name I've not heard for a while. I was hoping I would never hear it again.
Yes, he does seem to not die easily.
I have a feeling that there's more at work than that. But, yes, you would want to speak with Eisenhorn about that. Even more than I, he has vast experience with Pontius Glaw. You could say there's something of rivals. Very well. You will want to come and meet me.
We have a ship. Where should we go?
I am still on the planet. I am simply a bit distant. There is... This might seem a bit mundane compared to the grand work of the Ordo Malleus, but there is a trafficking ring moving significant amounts of Xenos drugs in human circles that are not approved and perhaps detrimental to the populace. that I've been trying to put an end to.
Is this something a strike force would be useful in dealing with, so that we can have your full attention?
As a matter of fact, it would. Most of my retinue are better suited to covert operations, with the exceptions of a handful like good Harlan here.
Well then, provide us a target.
Very well. Patient's Kiss will have the location information of where you can come to meet me and assist me with this problem.
I'll look over my shoulder at Gobruk. See, Gobruk? Now we will have a crump.
Right. It's just, he looks around. This place is real fancy. I thought we might get to punch it up a bit. In the background, Eustace breaks one of the light fixtures off and stuffs it into his bag.
Gideon Ravener looks directly at it. Well, Eustace, this place isn't exactly mine, so...
I don't think all the boys perk up a bit. And Gobruk turns around. Right, you hit him, lads. Get looting.
I don't think Gideon will be coming back here anytime soon.
Well then, let us be on our way then.
Right. I will leave you to my compatriots, and the glow on the Wraithbone amulet fades, and Harlan's eyes return to normal. Kind of shakes a minute. I am not the most compatible person for that.
Tilt my head at him. How much of it are you conscious for, or do you just?
All of it. I'm there the whole time. I'm just sort of like taking a back seat in your own body.
I'm familiar with that feeling. Typically, we kill people when that happens to them.
Are you alright? Do you need additional attention?
No, I just need a minute. It's just a little exhausting. I'm not the most compatible person here with that. Better than most, but
I mean, if you weren't better than most, you probably wouldn't have been chosen to be part of Ravenel's retinue in the first place.
Yeah, we lost Mathewin though. Mathewin, man, he took to that like it was natural. Hardly felt anything afterwards.
Look over at Kilara. You're feeling very complimentary today.
Well, there's no sense of being doom and gloom all the time.
I agree.
Back to the ship before the boys have too much loot to get onto it.
Well, first we need directions.
Yeah, Patience, are you gonna get out here? And with that, you hear a side door open, and a second female enters the room with sort of faintly what would in on like modern Earth times be Asian features, with sort of olive skin and long black hair that is currently kept up into a bun. With a outfit with numerous, like, it's almost a corset with like what looked like the whalebone ribs, but the ribs are sort of metallic and have a faint shine to them, and then outside of that is like a black bodysuit. And she walks up to the group, and now your Synesians is firing off hella mad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, with Erasmus and this new figure in the room. Yeah, definitely picking something up.
And this woman steps up. I am Patience Kiss, and I have the information you're looking for.
Does this person look like a what are they called? The inquisitorial assassins.
No, she does not look like she comes from a temple.
Okay.
Though she does sort of have the air of an assassin, not just not a temple assassin.
Yeah. Or I was thinking like Sisters of Silence, but
Yeah, no. For one, you can tell she's a psyker, not a blank.
got it. Well then, I suppose you'll be leading us to our destination, or at least providing us the coordinates.
Little of both. It's probably time for us to regroup anyway.
What was it? Gun cutter, right? We have a gun cutter?
Yes.
We have a gun cutter outside.
Oh, that's familiar, she says. Seems like every Inquisitor does. Gora just kind of shrugs. Gun cutters are useful for not drawing as much attention as a Thunderhawk.
We could have come down in a drop pod, but I figured that would have made too much noise.
Oh, definitely.
Also,
We probably would we have been able to get back up in one of those?
No.
also only Gobrick and I would have survived the fall, but that's a separate matter.
Mira says.
Sisters of Battle don't typically use drop pods for a reason.
Oi,
No, but they
you forget you're as an orc now.
Oh, my apologies.
But do you three have anything you need to gather before we depart, or?
Yeah, let me go grab my kit bag, he says, Harlan Nail says as he turns and walks off into a different room. You hear many guns being moved.
I turn around. How much of the previous hall has been ripped clean by the orcs?
It's a
Probably.
bare stone wall.
It's probably stripped down to the wood, because I don't think the orcs would have much use for wood.
No. There are like very specific niche mech boys that like to put wood paneling on stuff, but other than them,
Yeah.
So I turn around, see the hall stripped clean. That's incredibly quick, Gobrick.
My boys do good looting.
I think probably in response to the question, do you have everything you need, even though it wasn't directed at them, there is definitely a voice or two from down the hallway like,
well, just getting a few more things.
Well then, let's return to the gun cutter while they grab their preparations.
I've always got what I need with me, Patient says as she walks past you towards the landing platform.
As do I.
Me too.
he fondly pats the snaz gun.
Home is where the snaz gun is.
That's right.
Oh, home is where the power armor and Nemesis Force sword are.
A few moments later, the other three join you on the gun cutter with Harlan Nail dragging what looks to be a man-sized trunk behind him, which you can only assume is filled with guns.
Seeing him dragging it, Mira will get out and pick up the other side and help him just load it up.
Thanks.
No worries.
My boys can carry that for you.
No, nobody touches my guns with me.
Gabrick grins. Yeah, that's probably right. We was going to nick it anyway.
Anyway, introductions are probably in order. Proper ones, he says, sort of setting the chest down. I'm Harlan Nail. I'm typically speaking the muscle and the big guns whenever Ravener is involved. This is Kara Swoll. She is our acrobat and resident infiltration specialist. This is Patience Kiss, our telekine.
I thought I sensed something.
Can I get a general read on Harlan's effectiveness as the muscle?
Sure. See if there's an insight skill.
There is.
There is an insight skill.
Would I be able to do that as well?
No, I was wondering if it would be like a weapon skill or a leadership or a ballistic skill for like gauging his ability.
You can make weapon skill with your intelligence if you want.
I just wanted to know if I could take him.
Sure, do the same thing.
Weapon skill with intelligence?
Yeah.
Or with intellect.
Intellect?
Intellect.
Ooh, not as good.
4
successes.
4, but with a failure with a 1 on the wrath die.
The complication, yeah.
With the complication.
I got the same thing except no complication.
So both of you get the sense that this man has seen his fair share of scraps with opponents that would, typically speaking, be seen to outclass him. You can definitely see a couple of scars that could only have been left by near impacts with a bolt gun. And of the lot of it, he's carrying that chest full of guns, and you can only surmise he knows what each and every single one of them is for and when best to use them. As for your complication, you're pretty certain this guy's killed a space marine before.
Ah, a challenge then. Get that, get that Grey Knight egotism in there, because sure, you killed a regular space marine.
Well, considering who he is, it would probably be a Chaos Marine that he's killed before.
Yeah, probably. No, it's just that I feel like the Grey Knights probably feel like they are superior to the regular Astartes.
Probably, yes.
Even though they're, in some cases, yes, but in other cases, no.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you heard. Well, no, you heard everything on the other end, so you know who we are.
Mm-hmm. Another inquisitorial retinue. Yeah, you seem a lot more of the hard and fast type.
Yes.
You would be correct.
That'll probably be useful here.
I point over at Gobbrook. He opened up an orc war truck, stuck his gun in, and killed everyone inside with one pull of the trigger.
I imagine that pull lasted for a good little while.
Gabrick, who's in the middle of digging enthusiastically to see if there's any Daka lodged up his nose, turns around and goes, "Whoa!"
It was a significantly long pull, yes. Wait, is he digging with the power claw?
No, just the normal claw.
It's like turns around, power claw up one nose.
One nose.
Yes.
Well, yeah, the power claw is inevitably going to get through
Yeah.
all the whole nose.
Exactly.
Yeah, he definitely would have more than one nose after trying to use the power claw.
Yeah.
Oh god. Okay, and Tonri kind of looks across the three of them. So where are we going? Harlan kind of looks at her. Glavian, right? Nice. Our old pilot when I was working for Eisenhorn, our pilot was a Glavian too. So patience, and patience will hand off some coordinates. All right. I suppose it's time for us to get going then. Tonri will kick up the engines, and you'll probably have a few hours because it's on a pretty distant part of the world. If there's any conversations you need to have over the course of the flight.
Just
So
go for it.
So at this point, Kaylara removes her helmet for one of the first times that you've actually seen her face. It is a, well, I won't say typical Eldari style. Very short, jet black hair, solid blue eyes with no pupil. But she looks at the Ravenor's 3 agents and leans forward in her seat a little bit. If I may, what's Inquisitor Ravenor's connection to the Eldari? That was Wraithbone you used back there.
Yeah. After his well, there was a bit of an incident on Thracian Primaris, and he ended up getting caught in a, well, there's no way to put it, but a bombing strike on the city. And he happened to meet a couple of interested Eldar who wanted to assist in his recovery.
Intriguing.
I don't know the full details. I was still working with Eisenhorn at the time.
I would very much like to ask him about that and maybe some other things, if I got the chance.
You'll be meeting him shortly, so you'll get the chance if you want.
All right then.
Harlan looks up at Erasmus. How's Zale doing?
Do I know Zale? No,
roll
that's
me
definitely
a lore check.
Yeah. Also, as that conversation was happening, I took off my helmet. So bless these people with the vision of the Emperor. There is no lore check.
Scholar, sorry.
Scholar, there it is. Okay. Bam. 5 successes and another complication.
So that'll help you in a minute. But you have no idea what the name is initially, but that'll help you in a second.
I sort of like think for a second. The name does not ring a bell.
Sorry. Zale Efinetti was his original name. You'd know him as Hyperion. And that name you do recognize. Is a Grey Knight's prognosticar from the Hive. Previously had been a Hive Worlder from the world of Eustace Majoris, who had been brought into the Grey Knights.
Prognosticar Hyperion. Do I know how Hyperion is doing?
That would be... You would last you heard, he is on Titan training the next generation of prognosticars.
When last I heard, Prognosticar Hyperion is on Titan training the next generation of prognosticars.
Good. He's out of trouble then.
Well, as far out of trouble as a Grey Knight can ever be.
I knew him when he was a 14-year-old little shit.
How old would that make this person?
Over a century.
So he doesn't look like an Astartes, does he?
No.
Do humans live that long?
There are rejuvenat treatments that can allow humans to live for a very long time.
Okay.
It's especially popular for inquisitorial retinues, because if you've got good people, you want to make sure they stay with you as long as they can.
Give him a look up and down. You've aged well for a human.
Yeah, well, Imperial science will do that for you.
I am well aware.
Anyway, I'm just glad to hear he's still around.
At the moment, yes. Well, as of the moment of us crossing the rift, once we crossed that, there's no telling
That's true. He was important in our big mission that ended right here on Gudrun, dealing with another Cognite agent who we thought was the last of them after Law got dealt with, but apparently not.
Has your team been keeping an eye on the Glaw family?
What's left of it? There's only 2 of them left.
Any sign of chaos there?
Not at the moment.
None.
We've been sitting on hair triggers, though.
Well, with Pontius still around, good to be on those triggers.
Yeah. Well, I should probably warn you for meeting Ravener. He's not what you're gonna expect.
Honestly, my expectations are pretty slim right now.
I've come to expect very little with regards to Inquisitors.
Mm-hmm.
That point
Anyway,
we agree.
a few hours pass, and eventually the ship sets down, and you are let off this time in a field that is a short distance away from what appears to be a small village. And as the ship sets down and the ramp drops, you walk out, and you are being approached by 2 individuals. There is I say 2. There is a human in what looks to be like very old Imperial Guard fatigues, specifically a medic's outfit, with a las gun slung over one shoulder and just a Medicaid kit strapped across his back. The other individual is a massive black box that is hovering off of the ground and just kind of slowly careening towards the group and just kind of comes to a faint hovering rest. It is completely black and smooth, with this almost faint curve to it, almost chair-like, with the symbol of the Inquisition stamped on it.
I look over at Harlan, look back over at that, point at the box, and go, "The Inquisitor?"
Yeah, that's him.
Fascinating. Almost like a wraith guard.
There's an image for you in the Roll20 chat. And you hear coming a mechanized voice emerge from the interior of the basically floating coffin. I am Gideon Ravener.
A pleasure to meet you, Inquisitor Ravener. We've already been introduced prior.
Indeed. So, I take it you are prepared to assist me with this task in exchange for my aid in locating my former mentor.
Indeed.
Very well. I suspect this won't be anything too difficult for a squad of your proclivities, he says, as the chair. This chair has no face, but you can almost see it sort of taking in the group.
Give a wry grin, put the helmet back on. Give us our target.
Very well. Follow me to where I'm keeping my base of operations, and I will give you the rundown of the situation. Harlan, Patience, Kara, it's good to see all of you again. The three of them kind of give a friendly, familial nod. All right, let's get moving, shall we? And Patience kind of looks at the other human that is standing there. Belknap, how are his vitals? The Imperial Guard medic. Still looking good. He'll be fine. And the group turns and starts to head back into the forest, towards the village. I'm assuming you follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, the orcs burst free and run around.
I mean, that's a possibility.
No, the orcs are in the process of sort of muttering amongst themselves, and anyone who near is like,
Right, so remind me when we get back on the cruiser, we got to talk to Wurzag about getting us one of them talking boxes.
Incredibly
can't-
intrigued by the floating chair.
another one is like,
Well, if we can't figure out how to get it working the same way, why don't we just take a box and stick a grot in it?
"Get it might work," but so this continues.
So eventually, the group leads you to a small shack. Basically, it's like probably a 6-room house with just the one floor. That's kind of on the outskirts of the village. The back door having been widened and opened so that Ravener's power chair can get inside of it. And he sort of hovers inside.
Is it a power chair or a force chair?
It is technically speaking a power chair. It does have psi cannons in it, though.
So it's a force chair.
No, the chair is not psychically powered. It's just psychically controlled.
Make sure
Yeah.
we put some Dacko on the side of the box.
You were saying something, Andrew?
Yes, I was just thinking aloud that given that I picked up on Patience's psychic capabilities, I would probably not test Ravenors.
Yeah. Do you still have Psyniscience up?
It's a specific duration. Oh, I can words. Its duration is instant rather than sustained. So
Okay, so you use it and you look. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
So
I'd probably look again out of curiosity when Patience showed up, but
Yeah.
after getting the distinct sense of her strength.
And yeah. You gather that Patience is a potent but not very broad-ranged psychic. She's just a telekine. She's powerful with telekinesis, and that's about all she does.
Oh, yeah, it helps that she is also human and has a much more limited range of psychic capabilities compared to an Eldari.
Supposedly. At least as far as she's concerned, yes.
Oh, I was just thinking like game mechanics. I get access to 3 disciplines. She'd only get 1.
Yeah.
How many
And-
disciplines do orcs get access to?
Let me check Apocrypha's Weird Boy.
7.
Okay.
We're
I know.
not limited.
I know
by
Gabruk has
disciplines,
access to
'cause we don't
3.
got
Daka, and Daka.
Yeah.
They just get Smite and the Wa discipline.
They just get the one, but honestly, the WA discipline is all they need.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a pyromancy, like a pyromancer orc.
I mean,
You
in theory, I
probably-
believe you can take a talent that'll let you give you access to another discipline, I think.
Yeah, there's a talent for that. It's called Warped Mind. You may learn psychic powers from an additional psychic discipline.
Or you can just give him a burner.
But if I spit the fire, then I is the burner. which means I is the Daka.
Oh, we got something for that too. Just drink this.
Yeah, so where the fuck was I? Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, inside the building as you enter, you find at least one other person. Let me make sure there's not any. No, sorry.
If I really wanted to fuck with the group, when Erasmus dies, I should come back as a betrayer, chaos sorcerer. Like, so I know I'm chaos, and you guys don't like that, but I also don't like the guy you're hunting. So I figured a little bit of quid pro quo.
And mirror murders.
I don't think Mira waits.
Yeah, it would have been like, so I know I'm chaos, and that's you got to sew.
Opens mouth. Kalara fires.
Yeah, you find two more people inside. There is a very disheveled-looking man with sitting at a chair with a reading over a porno slate with a massive stack of cigarette butts sitting in an ashtray next to him.
Sorry, I think I misheard. What kind of slate?
Porno slate.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure I heard that correctly.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it sounds like. This is literally how he is described. Always reading a porno slate.
I'll leave that out of my notes.
There's a look of confusion from the largely sexless Astartes. It's like, why?
You do notice that underneath his very shaggy hairline, there is this metal band that is embedded into his skull that runs the entire length around his forehead, around the back of his head. But other than that, that's the only thing that seems odd about him, other than his generally disheveled nature and just kind of the weird sense of off-putting coming off of him.
Like off-putting, as in someone who is a hole in who is a void in the warp, or off-putting is just he's sitting there in public space reading porn.
I mean, it's hard to tell. He's just weird.
Depends on what makes you uncomfortable about him.
So
I mean,
sleazy, got it.
You don't sense the field of a blank, at least not right now.
Okay.
And then the other person is a female. She has what looks to have once been a marshal's outfit. Relatively attractive features, but definitely a very stern look. And she sort of stands at attention as Ravener re-enters the room, while the other one just kind of offers a half-hearted wave. And the chair speaks up. Plyton, Frauke, these are our guests. As the chair turns around to face the two of you. This is Maud Plyton, a former magistrate and marshal from the world of Eustace Majoris, he says, and the female nods and offers a faint salute. And this is Wystan Frauke, my untouchable.
How close is this last to Gobruk?
Is the second one untouchable?
Yeah.
Sitting 10 feet across the room.
Gobruk starts to drift in that direction.
That's not what that means, Godbrook.
Gobruk pauses, finger slowly extending out.
What's it mean then?
Hang on, I'm trying to get the exact wording. Untouchables are they're not blanks, but they are
they are a form of blank.
Yeah, they are a form of blank, but they're not. There's something different about them. I don't remember what it is.
Well, so it's not like a ghost then or something?
No. They are a form of hole in the psychic warp. Psychic powers work not as well on them, if at all.
Or around them when they don't have the inhibitor placed upon them.
Well, that would be the metal band.
Frauke nods and taps the metal band embedded into his skull.
Wait, William. Question. Don't blanks also not have emotions?
No,
Okay.
they don't have souls, supposedly.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they have no emotions.
Okay. It's like, this seems even weirder now.
Gobber considers. Go ahead.
Honestly, just having like a dispassionate taste for pornography seems to be a common factor among a lot of blanks, especially male blanks. I don't know why, but every blank that I can think of that was a guy just has a habit of like mild pornography.
But yeah, so yes, Gobrok. Untouchable in the psychic sense, not untouchable physically.
Gobber considers that and then continues to sort of wander in that direction. When he gets close enough, if nobody stops him, he will reach out and just sort of gently poke the shoulder with a claw.
He kind of looks over at you, waves, goes back to smoking and reading his slate.
Gobrook looks back and kind of gestures at the untouchable to the rest of the boys who erupt into cheers.
Anyway.
Inquisitor Ravner.
Yes.
So, located within a warehouse within this city, under heavy guard, is a small smuggling ring of individuals pushing a resurgent drug that I had once thought stamped out. Its resurgence is uncomfortably coincidental with your news of Pontius Glau's return.
Is the substance something the Cognite previously pushed?
Yes, it is a substance known as flects, which is to say individual shards of glass from worlds consumed by the warp. Peering into a flect grants one a small vision of the immaterium, with all of the risks associated.
Have you had any demonic activity springing from this trade yet?
Not as of yet, but the flecked trade has been known to occasionally seed possessions.
Well then.
How long ago did this resurge?
I have been tracing this particular ring for the past 7 months. Which is roughly coinciding with with when they first got news of the Cognite being back. Not exactly, but within that range.
Yeah.
Well then.
Do you have a rough estimate on their numbers or munitions at their disposal?
I have taken some attempts to search. Their numbers are difficult to pin down, More come in and leave regularly. However, they seem to be well armed for simple drug traders.
Well then, it is both our duty and my privilege to put down these traders.
Before we go putting anyone down, Inquisitor, and Kilara looks at Ravenel.
Yeah.
I imagine you want us to, at the very least, trace this back to the source from whence it came.
I believe that may give both myself and yourself a new lead into our problems.
Very well.
I'll be honest, I only really have one way of solving demonic problems, so...
Mir nods is the same.
Oh yes, I was just thinking that we may want to leave at least one of them alive, if only for a little while.
Oh yes,
Might
that could be
might
arranged.
be able to tell us. They might be able to tell us something.
Look over at Gobruk, aim for the knees. and I
Swings
nod.
by this Blunt County.
What the fuck was that?
Random news, apparently.
Huh.
It's the warp.
Sorry. Computer was having some issues. Galbraith says,
So, like, we could just shoot small bits off at first.
Yes, aim for the knees.
Right.
I'll indicate on one of the more human-sized people around which ones are the knees.
Well, know what knees is. They's good for kicking.
Just making sure.
It is good to see that I am not the only one of the Inquisition who has some ties to the Eldari, he says, looking over at Gora, who kind of shrugs. Unfortunately, it was my mentor that nourished those ties. I'm just picking up what's left.
Yes, there's a fair bit I'd like to talk with you about if possible. But now is definitely not the time. We have a drug trade to put down.
Indeed. Be warned, do not even glance at any open flecks. They are dangerous. I lost one of my most valuable agents to their influence long ago.
I'm just sitting here going, I wonder if anybody's been possessed by a herald, because that would make my quest really easy.
I'm sorry, I heard that as possessed by a herald.
A herald. I have to kill one of each herald. The Herald of Slanesh, the Herald of Sneech, the Herald of Nurgle, and the Herald of Khorne.
Sneech.
Sneech.
Zeech.
Zinch. That one.
Yeah.
Scary Birdman.
Yes. So then I suppose it is time to get underway.
Yes.
Then good luck to you, and may the Emperor protect. And I think that is where we will end for the week.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
bye, everybody.
Goodbye.